Andrew, here's something that might surprise you. One of literature's most famous murderers wasn't caught through detective work or evidence, but through the sheer weight of his conscience. Let me tell you about a psychological thriller that was written 150 years before the genre even existed.
Pappy, you're talking about Crime and Punishment, right? The way Dostoevsky gets into the mind of a killer is incredibly modern.
Right on, Andrew. And what's wild is how it starts with this seemingly simple premise. A former student named Raskolnikov convinces himself he has the right to murder someone for the greater good. It's like watching someone build this elaborate house of cards using pure logic and philosophy.
Pappy, the way you put that captures it. He creates this whole theory about extraordinary people being above moral law, doesn't he?
Oh man, and that's where it gets exciting. He believes certain special people, like Napoleon, have the right to commit crimes if it serves some higher purpose. Sound familiar? It's like these tech billionaires today who think they can ignore ethics because they're changing the world.
That parallel is so spot on. But what happens next is what makes this story truly brilliant.
Right, Andrew. Everything falls apart when he commits the murder. He kills this pawnbroker, thinking he's justified, but then her innocent sister walks in. Suddenly, all his philosophical justifications mean nothing. He has to kill her too, just to cover his tracks.
Pappy, the psychological aftermath is just devastating to watch unfold. The fever dreams, the paranoia.
And that's where Dostoevsky's genius shows. He understood PTSD and psychological trauma before these terms even existed. The way Raskolnikov's guilt manifests physically, the fever, the inability to eat, the compulsive returning to the scene of the crime, it reads like a modern psychological case study.
Speaking of psychological insight, we have to talk about Detective Porfiry Petrovich. The way he plays these mind games with Raskolnikov is incredible.
Oh, my Andrew, yes. He's like this 19th century Columbo, right? He knows Raskolnikov is guilty almost immediately, but instead of arresting him, he conducts this elaborate psychological experiment. He keeps pushing and prodding, knowing that Raskolnikov's guilt will eventually force him to confess.
Pappy, then there's Sonia. Talk about a complex character. A young woman forced into prostitution to support her family, yet she becomes Raskolnikov's moral compass.
That's what makes this book so powerful, these contradictions. Society would judge Sonia as this fallen woman, but she's the most morally pure character in the story. And her relationship with Raskolnikov is fascinating because she doesn't excuse what he did, but she shows him that redemption is possible.
How do you think this story speaks to our modern world?
Well, look at how relevant these themes still are. The idea that certain people are above moral law, the effects of poverty on moral choices, the psychological impact of guilt. We're still dealing with all of these issues today, and the way the novel explores social media and isolation. I mean, Raskolnikov basically cancels himself from society.
Pappy, that's such an interesting way to look at it. And the poverty aspect is particularly relevant. The way economic desperation can force people into moral compromises.
Andrew, you're on target. And what's powerful is how the novel doesn't offer any easy answers. Yes, Raskolnikov goes to prison in Siberia, but that's not really where his redemption happens. It's through accepting his guilt, through human connection, through acknowledging his humanity.
So, what's the big takeaway for modern readers?
I think it's this idea that no matter how much we try to rationalize our actions or distance ourselves from moral responsibility, we can't escape our conscience. And maybe more importantly, that redemption is always possible, not through punishment, but through accepting responsibility and reconnecting with our humanity.
Pappy, that's a pretty powerful message for our current moment, isn't it?
Andrew, it is, in a world where we're constantly debating ethics in technology, business, and politics, maybe we all need a little dose of Dostoevsky's moral clarity. Not the murder part, obviously, but the deep thinking about actions and consequences